Hello guys, so today we'll be looking at how to create a project and set up everything that's required in our project, and we will use Create React app to install a boilerplate for our React application. So let's see how we're going to do it. So we need npx. So one thing, before you install anything, you need a node installed in your system, node.js. So this is the environment that we need. So yeah, I would recommend you to use the latest version or anything that you can. So I have already installed in our system. So after you install Node.js in your system, you can actually just check a version. Okay, sorry, version, I guess, to check node version. Okay, so but we won't be using this node. After you install this node, you will get something called npm out of the box. Okay, so this is actually package manager that you will get it, and you see, or yeah, this has a version of 8.1.2. so also along with npm you will get something called npx. Okay, so pretty much same thing, and this is a package executor, and we will be using that to bootstrap our project. So this is the command that we need to use it in order to get that boilerplate and get started with our React project. So let's copy paste this, and in fact I will just create a folder. Okay, new folder. Okay, so since we will be creating the MovieDB web page, so we need, okay, I'll just use command prompt, and yeah, here npx create a tab. So after you install node, you can use this, and I'll just name it the MovieDB. Okay, so this will now create a folder and yeah, initialize our project. So while that's happening, so let's look at what we'll be building. And so today we'll be setting a font and also something called TailwindCSS. So this is a pure CSS library that we'll be using. Okay, so okay, this is a CSS framework that we'll be using, and yeah, and we will even learn as we use it. So let's look at the font and what was the font here that's being used. So let's just go here, the application. Okay, so the font family is actually the Source Sans Pro. Okay, so I just need to go to Google Fonts, and here I'll just copy that, search fonts, Source Sans Pro. Okay, so this is the font that we'll be using, and yeah, so let's so for now I'll just remove the styles. So I've already actually selected it, but yeah, I'll do this again. So now that you have this font, you see, so this is one darker font, and this one, the weight is a little bit smaller, and here you see some light one as well. So yeah, so we will use the lighter one, the light 301. We'll select this one. The other one we will select is the semi bold one. We will select this, and the final one we will use this, I guess, this one. So we'll use CSS import. Okay, for now let's just copy this import here, Control C. Let's see if our project is completed. So it's still not completed. So yeah, so now that it's completed, we can actually go to the movie DB folder here. Now let's just open ID inside that folder in our ID VS Code. So you see that there are some folder structures. So one thing that we need to see is the package.json folder. So here, this is the root of our project, and here is all the information that we need. So we have some scripts that we can access via npm. So we can actually write npm run, and then after any scripts that you can actually or you can even create our custom scripts as well. So commands. So So this uses actually React scripts, and we can actually see that this inside the dependencies we can see that there is React scripts. Okay, so this will handle live server and all those things, and we have some testing libraries. This is something that we want be focusing right now. So yeah, you see that there is React that we have imported previously and React DOM. Okay, so the another thing that we can see some developer some browsers that it can run. So in production it runs on almost everything, browsers and development, and it's recommended to use these three browsers. So yeah, so let's just look at the package log.json. So here this is the information about our this will handle all our versioning of our project. So you see that there is Babel. Okay, so this is all this compiler, and we don't actually now need to have that AJAX compiler Babel.js, right? So yeah, node modules is something, it's a bun package. It's all the packages that we are using. So here we are using these packages. So it's the file that contains all the code for these packages. Okay, so we will not be touching this. Another one that we won't be touching is the public folder. So let's just look at a little bit here. Inside this there's an HTML file. So you see that there is a div of id is equal to root. So everything that we want inside this div, so we will need to create something pretty much similar to what we have done in the previous video. So for source folder, I will just not even look at it, I'll just delete it. Okay, and so we will create our own source folder, and everything we will be writing would be inside that source folder. So let's create a source folder. Okay, so now I'll just write index.js file, and another one we need is index.css file. Okay, so this is the css. Yeah, let's just import React DOM, because just like in the previous video we will import React DOM, but now we will use ESX import to do that because we have the dependencies installed. Okay, so inside React DOM /client we will import React DOM. Okay, so now we will create a root container, create a React DOM.create root. Okay, so I'll just name it root variable, React DOM.create root, and document get element by id. So yeah, you see that there is a root folder in the root division inside the public folder. Okay, so don't save anything here, and so let's render something. Okay, so let's render an response tag, and again let's see how from React. So yeah, that's it, and we are pretty much done. Also let us import CSS so that we can actually have that import at the rate. So to import CSS we can just simply get the file name. So // means you are actually in the same directory, so it is in the same directory. Okay, so you are saying // so while importing packages and dependency you don't write // because you are importing that from node module, so you will just simply write the name. Okay, but if you write // that means you are trying to import some kind of file, and // means that it's the same directory, and if I say // now it's one directory above, and if you write nothing then it's the root directory. Okay, so this is basically that's it. So if I say // that means now I'm in the same directory and I can actually get index.css. Okay, so that's how I'm gonna import it. So obviously I need to import the font as well. So with the font I have copied, I will use Windows P, and this one I will use it, and the I haven't actually used this, but right now I will just say something HTML and to have my font of this. So let's see now this actually works. Okay, so I'll just use npm run start, or I can use npm start, so both is fine, but try to use run because in some custom commands you cannot actually write npm start. Okay, npm and the command. So it's actually opening from, I want it to open from my Chrome. So let's see if this is working or not, and then after that we will look. Okay, hi from React. So you see that there is this font this is working. You see this is the same font and that's working, right? Yeah, I guess that this works, and let's see. Yeah, so but the thing is that we don't want yeah, as we have done in our previous video, so we don't want everything here, but instead we will create a wrapper that would be our, I'll just name it after.js. So yeah, this is fine to do the JS extension, but I would recommend you to have a JS extension, because this means that you have this idea that now this JS file is actually a function that returns JSX. Okay, so then here so I'll create a function. Okay, so function app function app, so you can now, so this is a function and this will return this, let's say hi from app component. Okay, so now this needs to we need to export this because we are doing in a separate file, so let's export it. I'll use the default export. Okay, and this is just name of the app. Okay, and now let's just import it inside this. So in order to import this, I'll just say import app. So yeah, to import this we'll just need app from, so dot slash means we can actually, and that same directory. Okay, so that app, so you don't have to write this JSX. Okay, you can simply do this. So you can write this as well, this is fine, but you can simply do this. So now actually now inside h, what we will do is we will write app slash. Okay, so yeah, so let's look at a browser. So it's there, hyphen app component. Okay, so yeah, now what we need to do is, now that we have our font and React set up, we will actually set up this React with PostCSS and Tailwind. Okay, so what that is, PostCSS is a tool that will help us to write CSS inside JavaScript. Okay, so for that we'll just look at the Tailwind docs. Okay, and here it says the framework guides and yeah, the created app. So this one we have already done this, and now what we need to do, we need to install some PostCSS and or Tailwind CSS. Okay, so this is the some developer dependency that we'll be using, and so I'll just create a terminal here and paste this. So I see npm install, so this means we are actually installing package. Okay, so now we have PostCSS installed, and now the another one is we need to have that config file. So this will initialize our Tailwind with a standard configuration file. Okay, so you see that there is Tailwind CSS PostCSS config and Tailwind config. Okay, so we'll be only configuring our file in the Tailwind config. So it's so just copy this. Okay, copy this, whatever, and that's it. Now we have done this pretty much. Now we need to make sure that this works, I need to restart my server as well. So npm restart again, I'll do that, and let's look at documentation as well. So yeah, I need to import this inside the index.css file. Okay, so let's do that as well. In this .css file, let's import something like this. Let's just import at the top. Okay, so yeah, let's look at this. If I reload it, you see yeah, now it's actually Tailwind has been applied. So but what it is doing is that it is using this one for now, the light one, the 300 one. This is the first one that it's using. So we can actually access whatever you want using Tailwind CSS. Okay, let's just, so before you even start writing, I would recommend you to have this extension so that you can actually see what CSS you are actually writing. So let's look at the next is just app.jsx file. Okay, so here I'll just write a class name, and yeah, so now we can actually start writing. So let's say I want to have a font, okay, of bold. Okay, font of bold. Okay, so you can actually hover and you can see what you're writing. You're writing font weight is now 700. That means now the font weight should be bigger, and it should, yeah, this is working, right? The font is the bigger, it's a bold font. So also we can actually give the same bold here, and let's see, there will be probably the, yeah, now this is actually working fine. And and well, that's fine. Now I want this to be much bigger, so let's just look at it. uh, you can now simply write something like text text here. Now it shows all the things that you can write. So I'll say text LG. This is some large text, so you see the font size. It's just the font size and line height. Okay, so and if I click here, okay, so this is already a large text, I guess. So in order to give much larger, you need this, I'll say 4XL for now. Let's just look at it if it's much larger or not. Yeah, so also I want some kind of bold, so I'll just do bold. Yeah, so now this is working. You see now it's pretty much the same font that this has. Okay, yeah, so in our next video, and so this is all for our setup, and in our next video we will actually learn how to create components with a good folder structure, and also, yeah, recreate this page banner and this navigation. Okay.